At 9 in the morning, you open your laptop to do one important thing. At 9:07, a message arrives. At 9:12, you check one email. At 9:20, you remember a smaller task that suddenly feels urgent. By lunch, you have been working continuously, and the important thing is still a blank page. You did not run out of time. Your time was broken into pieces, too small to use. The productivity industry has a complicated answer for this. Another app, another matrix, another color-coded system you will maintain for 4 days and then quietly abandon. The research offers a less glamorous answer. In the academic literature, time management can be reduced to 3 jobs. Structure your time, protect it, adapt it when reality changes. That is the whole system, but each word solves a different reason your day disappears. Miss any one of them, and the blank page wins. This matters because the point of time management is usually misunderstood. A major meta-analysis combined 158 studies, 490 effect sizes, and more than 53,000 participants. Time management was moderately associated with better performance, greater well-being, and lower distress. But the surprising result was where the relationship was strongest. Well-being beat job performance. So the best system is not necessarily the one that squeezes the most tasks into Tuesday. It is the one that gives you more control over what Tuesday becomes. A packed day can complete more actions while moving less of the work you value. A controlled day chooses before it receives. The evidence does not prove that a calendar causes happiness, but it changes the target, not maximum density, deliberate allocation. And that starts before the day gets loud. Most to-do lists record intentions. Work on the presentation, study, start the video. Those lines tell you what you want. They do not tell your future self when to begin, where to begin, or what beginning even looks like. Psychologists call the more specific alternative an implementation intention. It is a plan that connects a cue to an action. If this situation arrives, then I do this. A meta-analysis of 94 independent tests found that these when, where, and how plans produced a meaningful average improvement in goal attainment compared with goal intentions alone. So work on the presentation becomes something different. Tomorrow at 9:30 at my desk, I will draft the first 3 slides before I open email. Same goal, completely different instruction. The vague version leaves every decision for 9:30. When to begin, which file to open, what counts as progress. The specific version answers while the day is still quiet. It is not more motivated, it has fewer escape routes. Structure means deciding what a piece of time is for before the easiest available thing claims it. It does not require planning every minute. Start with one outcome and give it a real appointment. Make the first action visible enough that you can begin without renegotiating the goal. But this is where most advice stops, and why most beautiful schedules die before lunch. Putting work on a calendar does not protect it. At 9:30, you begin the slides. At 9:37, a message asks for a quick answer. You reply, return to the deck, and tell yourself nothing happened. Something happened. In classic task-switching experiments, participants alternated between tasks, such as classifying shapes and solving arithmetic problems. Every switch carried a time cost. The cost grew as the rules became more complex, and switching into less familiar work took longer. Researchers described 2 hidden steps. First, your mind changes the goal. Then it activates the rules for the new task. This does not mean you are biologically incapable of walking while listening to a podcast. Simple or well-practiced activities can overlap. The problem is rapid switching between demanding tasks. The report, the message, the spreadsheet, the report again. Each one asks your mind to unload one set of rules and rebuild another. There is no honest universal price for every switch. The cost changes with complexity, familiarity, and the cues available. A 2-second glance and a difficult client call are not cognitively identical, but repeated switching means repeated reconstruction. The detour costs not only its own minutes, but the work of becoming the person who was doing the original task again. Sometimes, part of the old task refuses to leave. Researcher Sophie Leroy called that attention residue. In 2 experiments, people had difficulty fully disengaging from unfinished work, and their performance on the next task suffered. An interruption can end while its effect continues. You stop typing the reply, but keep rehearsing what you said and what may come back. Your body has returned to the presentation. Some of your attention is still inside the message. Here is the result that makes this story stranger. Interruptions do not always make people look slower. In a simulated office experiment, 48 participants answered workplace emails while being interrupted by phone or instant message. The interrupted groups completed the main task faster with no measured drop in quality. If the study ended there, interruption would look like a productivity tool. This was one controlled simulation with a modest sample, not a law governing every office. But that is precisely why the result is useful. It separates visible speed from the experience required to produce it. And the study did not end with speed. The interrupted participants reported more stress, more frustration, more time pressure, and more effort. The researchers concluded that people had compensated by speeding up. That explains a familiar kind of day. You answer everything. You finish enough to appear productive, and you arrive at the evening feeling as if you sprinted through a room without getting anywhere important. The cost was real. It just did not appear in the task count. This is why protection is the second job. Protection does not mean becoming unreachable for an entire day. Many people cannot do that. Their work is reactive, their children need them, their manager owns half the calendar. Protection means choosing one boundary you actually control. For one block, choose one demanding output. Close the inbox. Silence non-essential alerts. Put the phone beyond automatic reach. If a request can wait, decide when you will see it, instead of letting it decide when it will see you. Protection can be small, 30 quiet minutes, one agreed closed-door period, defined message windows. The point is not isolation. It is fewer transitions while demanding work holds a complete mental model. A schedule says that this matters. A boundary makes that sentence true. But even a defended block will eventually break. A client calls, a child wakes up. The fire alarm does not care about your calendar aesthetic. That is where the third verb matters most. People often treat adaptation as failure. The 10 o'clock meeting runs long, so the 10:30 block slips. The perfect plan is now imperfect, and the rest of the day becomes improvisation. But adaptation is not an exception to time management. It is part of the definition. And interruption research offers a remarkably small recovery tool. Before you switch away from unfinished work, briefly write a ready-to-resume plan. Next, open slide 4, compare the 2 charts. Choose one. In 4 studies, reflecting on and planning the return to an interrupted task reduced attention residue and prevented the tested performance loss on the interrupting task. The note does not finish the work. It gives your future attention a runway back. Instead of reopening the project and wondering where you were, you return to a prepared first move. The interruption still happened. It simply loses the power to make you reconstruct the entire task from memory. Then rebuild the remaining schedule from the present moment. Move the block, shorten it, drop something that no longer fits, leave slack for the next surprise. A brittle plan works only without traffic, urgent requests, sick children, or bad estimates. An adaptive plan assumes a real day will behave like one. A useful schedule is not a promise that reality must obey. It is a decision you are allowed to update. The popular version of time management says the disciplined person follows the plan perfectly. The evidence points to something more forgiving. A good system makes one priority easy to start, hard to interrupt, and easy to resume. So tomorrow, try the 1-1-1 system. One outcome. Choose the result that would make the day meaningfully better. One protected block. Assign it a time, a place, and a visible first action. One restart note. If you must leave, write the next move before you go. That is structure. protection, and adaptation without a new app, a complicated dashboard, or the fantasy that nothing unexpected will happen. Test it for 1 day. If the block fails, do not call yourself lazy. Ask which job was missing. Consider whether the work was never structured. Consider whether the boundary was too weak. Consider whether the first interruption erased the rest of the plan. Tell me which of the 3 steals your day most often. Tomorrow at 9, the blank page will still be there. You cannot manufacture another hour, but you can decide what this one is for. Defend that decision and revise it when life disagrees.